Welcome, one and all, in here, out there, to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Folks, you hear that, Louis?
Yeah.
You hear that? That is the sound of people who have been liberated. Because thanks to Donald Trump, America is finally free from the tyranny of being able to buy stuff from other countries. Who's ready to learn how to make their own iPad from scratch? Watch those kids have all the fun. You know, for a guy who's been touting tariffs for months, seems like this all came together at the last minute. Reportedly, Trump was still weighing tariff options until late yesterday. Now, if you're not steeped in the wonky language of Beltway insiders, that basically means they were spitballing ideas through the bathroom door at 3 a.m. Tell you what if Ireland has to pay extra to be on the Lucky Charms box? What about that? I'm just spitballing here. We stopped Count Chocula at the border. After weeks of speculation, Trump announced a 10% tariff on all countries and additional tariffs on some, like 34% tax on imports from China, 20% tax on imports from the European Union, 25% on South Korea, 24% on Japan, 32% on Taiwan, making these the most severe set of U.S. trade tariffs since 1930. Ah, yes, the 1930 Smoot-Hawley tariffs. Just one of the reasons we remember Herbert Hoover as our greatest president. That's why they named all those vacuums after him, because he didn't suck. Now, nobody names their kids Smoot or Hawley anymore. Now, worrywart historians believe that the 1930s tariffs were responsible for a 2/3 decline in international trade and led to a global depression. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but just in case, we should all practice our sad Dust Bowl migrant mother pose. Late this afternoon, Trump went out to the Rose Garden to ring the liberation bell. He explained that it's unfair when countries impose tariffs, which is why he's imposing tariffs.
I will sign a historic executive order instituting reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal, that means they do it to us and we do it to them.
That's a totally new thing for me. I don't usually do the reciprocal. Usually, I demand to get tariff first, and then I just roll over and fall asleep. Reciprocal. Write that down. Trump just went off on our closest ally for their dairy taxes.
Canada, by the way, imposes a 250 to 300% tariff on many of our dairy products. They do the first can of milk. They do the first little carton of milk at a very low price, but after that it gets bad. It's not a pretty picture.
It's disgusting is what it is, what they do. Here's what they do. They do milk, lemonade. Then around the corner, it is not a pretty picture. So that happened, and Trump's toadies are out there defending the tariffs, kind of. Here's Louisiana Senator John Kennedy on Fox Business arguing that ultimately, nothing is knowable.
The truth is, nobody knows. I've listened to economists for the last month. Some say this will cause a recession. His tariffs will cause a recession. Others say it will cause growth. In my 8 years in Washington, what I've learned that for every economist, there's an equal and opposite economist.
Sounds crazy. Okay, it may sound crazy, but it's actually true. For example, Milton Friedman was always opposed by the equal and opposite economist, Friedmil Manton. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mirror, mirror. Mirror, mirror. They go through the... And they fight forever. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Between the... remember. Most experts dispute the idea that these tariffs would lead to any growth at all. Instead, they say we could be looking at a prolonged recession, higher prices, and higher unemployment. Okay, a little more practice. Damn, these grapes smell like wrath. There's some positive news out there, because last night, in a campaign with national implications, a liberal judge won the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Congratulations. There you go, a little something. Put that by your chimney with care. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Congratulations. I mean, frankly, I admire anyone in Wisconsin who can win a race. Do you know how hard it is to run after eating a cheddar brat? The new justice is former prosecutor and county judge Susan Crawford, seen here accepting the award for world's largest hand. A lot of folks are happy about this, partly because it keeps the court's 4-3 liberal majority, but mostly because it is terrible news for Elon Musk. Yes. Musk, seen here after being dipped in glue and rolled through a Hot Topic. You see, the richest man in the world tried to buy the race for the losing candidate. He spent over $20 million on his campaign. Ha! Now, all you have left is the rest of all the money in the world. Not only did Musk donate millions to the Republican-backed candidate, he also handed out actual million-dollar checks to voters. Spending all that money, spending all that cash just to watch the whole thing burst into flames. Now he knows what it's like to buy a Tesla. Musk didn't just lose, he got crushed in a state that had been decided by less than 1 percentage point in the last 3 presidential races. Crawford won by 10 points. She even won the county where Musk held a rally on Sunday, which Trump won by 8 points. Pro tip, Republicans, you're overusing Elon Musk. No one likes him. He's too rich, and he ruins everything. He's like if truffle oil were a person, okay? Stop putting it on my French fries. They were perfect before. That's why they call them French fries. I want to give a shout out to a friend of this show, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah.
Can I catch any of this?
Yeah.
Did you see any of it?
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Last night, Senator Booker completed a marathon 25-hour speech protesting Trump's policies. And keep in mind, Cory Booker is a vegan. He did 25 hours fueled by chickpeas. This is historic. For many reasons, it's historic. Many reasons it's historic, partly because Booker broke the record previously set in 1957 by South Carolina's Strom Thurmond, who filibustered for 24 hours and 18 minutes against the Civil Rights Act. Of course, Senator Thurmond died in 2003, but if he could speak from beyond the grave, I think he'd say, "Ah, the fire, it burns! Ah! Ah!" Typically, when senators give long speeches like this, they eat up time by doing things like reciting from the rule book or reading Green Eggs and Ham. Booker is unique because he actually used all 25 hours to make a case to the American people. He read letters from constituents. He discussed Trump's trade wars, the mass firings, the deportations, and threats to Medicaid. And he spent nearly 2 hours explaining how the hell he was able to date Rosario Dawson. I mean, he's a fine-looking guy, but she's Rosario Dawson. There were many great moments, but Booker saved, I think, the best for last.
The power of the people is greater than the people in power. It is time to heed the words of the man I began this whole thing with, John Lewis. I beg folks to take his example of his early days where he made himself determined to show his love for his country at a time the country didn't love him, to love this country so much, to be such a patriot that he endured beatings savagely on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, at lunch counters, on freedom rides. He said he had to do something. This is a moral moment. It's not left or right, it's right or wrong. Let's get in good trouble. My friend, Madam President, I yield the floor.
Yes, sir. That was beautiful. Give that man an award. Eventually. First give him a toilet and a bed. And some kind of cauliflower steak or whatever he calls food. And I'm happy to say Cory Booker will be my guest on Monday, right over there, to talk about what is going on in the Senate, what is going on in America, and what can be done. Even after that marathon floor speech, Booker was not done. Once he left the chamber, and I'm assuming against doctor's orders, he went out into the hallway and took questions from CNN's Manu Raju.
I didn't know how long I could go, but I'm so grateful that I lasted for 25 hours.
Senator Booker, was it your goal coming in to speak longer than Strom Thurmond? And a question that so many people have is, how do you maintain the stamina? How did you not have to use the restroom for 25 hours?
Manu, look at his face. Let the man rest. I'm being told we have footage of what Cory Booker was seeing while Manu Raju was asking the question.
Senator Booker, was it your goal coming in to speak longer than Strom Thurmond? And the question that so many people have is, how do you maintain the stamina?
Hi, Cory. We got a great show for you tonight. My guests are Pierce Brosnan and Hannah Einbinder. But when we come back, it's science, y'all.